Mindfulness is what brought Buddha enlightenment. These Buddhist basics will empower your own practice of mindfulness. Richard Clarke talks from decades of his own practice.
Today, I'm going to talk about another Buddhist topic, uh, what they call the three marks of existence. The three marks of existence are Buddhism's basic description of reality. They are three simple truths which characterize all things that exist. The first is impermanence. The Pali word is annika. The next is suffering, or dukkha. We've heard about that. And the third is non-self, anata. And this is what these things mean. Impermanence is one of the foundational truths of Buddhism. The Buddha said that all compounded phenomena disintegrate. This means that all things are made of parts and all things fall apart. All things change. Another blunter way to put it is that everything dies. All attachment is an attempt to deny this reality. The next is suffering, dukkha, and every experience is marked by some quality of suffering or discontent, whether it's extreme pain or just a background sense of unease. As long as we hope to find lasting happiness in a world of changing things, we'll be unsatisfied. As long as we struggle to maintain a sense of solid, unchanging self, our lives will be marked by stress and fear, and our struggle will always be unsuccessful because of the next item, which is non-self. And by this, the Buddhists mean that there is no solid, separate, single, unchanging self in the world of things. All things change. This includes our body, our mind, and our idea of our own identity. We have in our minds no core, nothing firm. Our sense of identity is simply the product of multiple causes and conditions. Impermanence describes how things are. Non-self describes what they're not. I think this idea of non-self has a lot more behind it. The schools of Buddhism called Hinayana, the small vehicle, had as their highest idea of meditation the empty, quiet mind. Later schools like Zen are Mahayana, the great vehicle. I think the difference shows in the Mahayana idea something like when the mind is quiet, there is something deeper. Who knows this quiet mind? In Mahayana, you see ideas like Buddha nature and luminous mind. There's a related term, svasamvedana, a term which refers to the self-reflexive nature of consciousness, the ability of consciousness to know itself. There's been much argument between Buddhist schools about this. Buddha nature is seen by some schools of thought as something that transcends the individual, something that we all have and share. But Hinayamas might say, but when all phenomena are seen as impermanent, is not awareness also seen as impermanent? In the Mahayana Tibetan Buddhism, in the Dzogchen tradition, Svasamvedana is often called the very nature of mind and metaphorically referred to as luminosity or clear light. A common Tibetan metaphor for this reflexivity is that of a lamp in a dark room, which in the act of illuminating objects in the room also illuminates itself. And Dzogchen's Vasamvedana is seen as the primordial substratum or ground of the mind. This remains always the same, even as the mind and the world and everything else keeps changing. I studied Buddhism for 25 years, focusing on the Mahayana Chinese Chan Buddhism, which later evolved into Zen. Then, after finding a genuine self-realized teacher, turned to Advaita Vedanta. Advaita says that being and consciousness are just different names for the same thing, and that is who we are. And this being consciousness is what lights up the universe and is our real identity. This being consciousness is not limited to the individual, but is vast and limitless. It's not that the individual has being and consciousness, rather that the seeming individual exists within boundless being consciousness. A metaphor they use is a movie and the screen. We think that we're in the movie and we get scared when we see a fire and happy when we see a flower. But really, we are the screen. The movie is shown on the screen, but never touches the screen. The fire in the film does not burn the screen. The goal of Advaita Vedanta and the Tibetan Dzogchen is to realize this being consciousness as your own identity, as who you are, not the apparent individual. I think this is the highest meaning of anatta, non-self. For me, the realization of this meaning of non-self is my own highest goal. There's confusion because of the different languages of Buddhism and Vedanta. Buddhism says no self, meaning no lasting, unchanging, individual being consciousness. Vedanta says all self, meaning that everything exists within unchanging being consciousness. And this is our ultimate reality. But it's not a body, not a mind. Body and mind exists within it. It is what you are.
You want deeper meditation, more peace, more happiness. Subscribe now to continue to find ways to get more from your meditation.